and welcome to episode. Hold on, I know it. I know it.
No, you don't. Just say the next
27.
another episode.
It's 27. Welcome to
No,
episode 27 of the Quotes and Mirrors podcast. I told you I knew. Now,
I'm just gonna say another episode every time I have to say it. That's all to it.
nah, I remember this time. I went and checked. It's episode 27 of the Quotes and Mirrors podcast. I am your host, Tyrell James.
And I am your host, Uncommonterry. Welcome. Glad to see you or hear you or to be heard. Right? To be heard would probably be the more accurate thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not more accurate, just accurate.
You know what? I guess that's true. People do say more accurate, but I guess that accurate is accurate, right?
Yeah, accurate is accurate.
Hold on, you can't be more accurate?
I mean, what's accurate?
It's not exact, is it? Is accurate exact?
I feel like it is. I don't know. We'd have to look up that definition. That's another quote for another show. I don't know. We'll figure that out.
It's not even a quote yet. We're just trying to figure out the word. Okay. Cool. Anyway, yeah, welcome to episode 27. Quotes and Mirrors podcast. For those of you that have never heard us before, we're actually offended by that because it's episode 27. Listen up. You know what I mean?
What are y'all doing?
Right? What are you doing? What we do here, we live up to the name. We pick a quote and we reflect on that quote. So you're gonna hear my thoughts. You're not gonna want to hear his thoughts. He's gonna say them anyway. They're gonna be in the gray. So
if you want to hear something that's very black and white, no wiggle room, no room for anybody to have an opposing opinion, then you listen to Uncommonterry. If you want something that's more inclusive, and something where everybody can actually sit and have an open dialect, then you come see me.
Yeah, like what he said, if you want to see him wiggle, then you come see him. I think that's what you said. Right?
That's my OnlyFans.
Oh, Lord have mercy. You know what? And look, I ain't gonna knock your hustle, son. All right, because people making money out there. They getting busy.
Well, my wife is my OnlyFans, so it ain't really working out in my favor right now.
Look, I'm not gonna give him no opportunities to chop things up and make no sound bite like you just did right there. This, it's all entertainment. I appreciate you. I appreciate your transparency, as a matter of fact, as well. Hold on, you know what? I actually don't see the quote right now. Do you see it?
Really? Yeah, I see it. It's there.
Yeah. Okay, I don't see it going across the bottom, and I haven't memorized it, so I'm gonna have
I'll say it for you. Now, I'll say this: you're very blurry.
Am I?
Yeah, you're blurry.
Is it like the light or?
Nah, it ain't the light. It's the screen.
Really? Okay. Because I'm not blurry. I'm looking at. I see myself. I'm not blurry at all.
Like when you first wake up and you got all that coal in your eyes and you can't really see clear. Yeah. Good morning.
I ain't woke up like that. I ain't woke up like that since my 20s. So I don't know what you're talking about. But
I'm still in my 20s, so.
You still in your 20s? You in your 20s for the 20th time. Okay. So, hold on just 1 second. Let me see if I can clean the lens on my camera real quick.
Okay, but I don't think that's it either.
Where
No, because it keeps like going in and out.
So hold on. So can you see me clearly at all? Or have you seen me clearly at all?
I mean, I can see you. I know it's you, but it ain't clear.
That seems like something we should have resolved before we hit record.
Yeah, no? But it was fine before we hit record. That's crazy. Like, yeah, you I'm wondering if this is just symbolic of how this show is going to go. Like, I'm gonna be very clear on the things that I'm saying, and you're just not going to be all that clear. People aren't going to.
No, I think you got it a little bit inverted. What's happening is you're not going to be able to see what I'm saying very clearly. because of the fact of you existing in the gray, which essentially is the fog. Okay. So, but
Well,
look, hold
luckily
on,
for
because
me, I don't have to see what you're saying because I got ears.
I mean, you said for you, like other people don't have ears. Other people got ears.
How you know?
Because I got my own and you got a pair. So other people got. But yo, okay, so I just minimized my screen. I know you can't see me any different, but I can see the quote. I'm gonna have a
Okay,
hard time pronouncing this cat's name though. But okay, bringing
I'll
it
say
back.
it for you.
Episode 27. Here we go. All right.
Mhm.
The quote for today. Hold on a second because it's wrapping around, and again, I have not memorized this quote. So I need a little bit of pay. Here we go. Here we go. He who cannot obey himself will be commanded. That is the nature of living creatures. And what's his name? Friedrich Nietzsche sketch. Nietzsche sketch.
Gesundheit.
Nietzsche.
Gesundheit.
Nietzsche. Hold on a second. Okay.
Frederick
Friedrich.
Nietzsche.
You say Nietzsche, but I'm gonna have to hear somebody else say Nietzsche because I don't think that's what it is. Nonetheless, this quote right here. I really wish I could see it when I actually blow the screen up because I don't want to forget it. But that's on the other screen. At any rate, the first part is the best part to me. He who cannot obey himself will be commanded. Yo. So this part right here. All right. So I'm a cat. I start things. I don't finish things. All right. This is the first way that this actually I related to this because I say I'm gonna do something and I don't do it. Right. And as a result of not doing it, what happens is nobody can depend on you, right?
Mhm.
So they what should I say? They can't depend on you to be you're not dependable, right? So they ask you to do something, they're gonna check up on you, they're gonna run behind you, making sure it gets done, and that's why I see the commanded part of it, not just as being told to do something, but having to be
Mhm.
micromanaged. You know what I'm saying? Because you breaking
Mhm.
promises to yourself and it don't matter. And that's to be the first person to matter. Let's be honest. Like, and I don't think people really have a healthy, shall I say, fear of disappointing themselves. Right. And I think that's an ego and a pride thing. But if you don't obey yourself, oh my God, you're gonna be commanded by truth be told, if you really get into it, you're gonna be commanded by whatever job you're at.
Mhm.
In your relationship, you're gonna be commanded by your girl, believe it or not, because if you ain't doing what you gotta do, this is the thing. If you ain't doing what you gotta do when she call you out for doing it or for not doing it, you can't really be pissed at her. You know
Is
what I
that
mean?
commanded though? Is that being
Well,
commanded?
no, you're not being commanded yet. You're not being commanded yet, but it'll come a point where she's frustrated with you not doing what you said you're gonna do. So now she's telling you to do things. You know what I mean? Or circumstance is going to be telling you to do things because you didn't do them voluntarily on your own. The same thing is going to happen with your children. They're going to demand a certain attention because you said, Dad, you said we was going to go to the park. You didn't know, you wasn't obedient to yourself when you said it. And now you're going to be commanded by whether it be by guilt from them, whether it be by shame for yourself, you know what I mean, or regret, whatever the situation, you are still now going to be, instead of you taking a step, instead of you being assertive and you making the movements, you're going to be moved. You're going to be tossed to or fro by the result of you not doing what you said you was going to do. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. Tell me something though. What is the definition, or even your definition of commanded?
Commanded. I would say, honestly, I guess commanded would be an or else statement. Yeah, I mean, and it don't even have to say or else, but you're gonna have to you're going to be told or encouraged whatever to do something, and should you not do it, consequences will occur.
So commanded is directly connected to consequences.
I would say, actually, no. I would say now that's going to end up being scenario based. No, I won't say it's directly connected to consequences because the bottom line is for somebody to be in command, they're in control.
Hmm.
So okay, so that is more what I'm saying. He will not obey himself will be controlled. I think
Okay.
that's the same thing as saying that he will be commanded.
Okay. What about the person who is hold on, I need to wait for the quote to go across the screen again. He who cannot obey himself. Okay. So what about the person who I tell you what, going back to using the example that you used when you're talking about yourself, saying
Hmm.
pretty much you don't follow through on things.
Right.
So what about the person is who may not necessarily follow through, but
Hmm.
you also can't command them. You can't control them because you're gonna have people. It's like, listen, I'm not listening to myself. I ain't listening to y'all either. I'm gonna do what I
Well,
want when I want. I'm on my own time. You can't control me. So
but
how is that person being commanded?
because this doesn't say that he who cannot obey himself will be commanded by another. It simply says he will be commanded. So whether it be circumstance, whether it be emotion, whether it be an individual that does that commanding, that will come into play. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So you can rebel all you want, but if you can't, matter of fact, at this point, if you can't obey yourself, and then somebody else is trying to push you to do, and you saying, "Nah,
Mhm.
I ain't doing it. You ain't telling me to do nothing." You're now being commanded by rebellion.
Can we substitute commanded? And I'm not saying to just substitute it, but just so I get a better understanding of this,
Mhm.
are we able to substitute commanded for held accountable?
Um, I think those are two separate things because you could. Well, I mean, if you want to say that you're commanded by accountability, okay, then that would be the same thing.
Okay, but commanded itself doesn't necessarily mean held accountable. It could be controlled because it can we break this down by saying if I don't have complete control over myself, then essentially something or someone else will control me.
100%. And you volunteer for that. For that, you volunteer for that to occur, and you don't even get to choose what it is that's going to take control, what it is that's going to be doing the commanding. You know what I mean, you had your
So
opportunity to do that.
so when you don't follow through on things, what is it that controls you?
Everything else, as a matter of fact. So if I say that I'm going to do something and I don't do it, and it still needs to be done, now my movement is there is shame, there is embarrassment, there is regret, there is guilt. These emotions are commanding me as I move towards that thing. So now I'm making decisions, excuse me, um, trying to get this. What is happening? What what are
No,
you doing?
just you can go ahead and just ignore this. This is I'm doing some acupuncture right now. You go.
Okay, I mean, for the people that can't see that you have cut the head off of a whisk and are now scratching your entire head all points at the same time. I ain't gonna lie, that's a little bit of a distraction.
My bad. I'm gonna put it down. That's I don't want to distract you. My bad. You go.
but anyway, but yeah. So now you start making movements based on those emotions because you didn't follow through what you said you was going to do. So now I'm Okay.
That's my bad. That's my bad.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Yeah.
You go. Yeah.
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 I
My
mean,
bad. You.
so so you start making movements like planning because now you could easily be in a redemption mode, right? And now you're still trying to get things done, but that was the plan wasn't to do those things at that time. Like for instance, I still got to put up ceiling fans in my daughter's room. All right, I told her I was going to put the ceiling fans up, but I also told my oldest daughter I was going to help her move some furniture, and we didn't actually set a date and when we was going to help some of the furniture. So I was like, cool, I'm going to put the fans up today. Then my oldest daughter popped up, let's move the furniture today. All right, cool, I'm move the furniture. But then I get there and I got to move furniture. I got to put furniture together. I got to dump old furniture. All this stuff is happening. I get home and the fans never got put up. So now, whatever was in place, like whatever I was going to do after I got the fans pulled up, now I'm completely commanded by the need to redeem the fact that I told her I was going to put those fans up. You know what I mean? So it's a big deal, and I kind of picked this quote because I am working on, eliminating me saying I'm gonna do something and not doing it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I choose these things that highlight my flaws so that I can dig into them a little bit. You know what I mean?
When you first mentioned it, I immediately sat and I started thinking about times that I did not obey myself, and then I found myself trying to break down different parts of this quote.
Mm-hmm.
I started with obey.
Okay.
Obey meaning obey myself, meaning I expect a certain thing of myself, and I have certain standards that I've set for myself.
Right.
If I don't obey myself, it's because I didn't meet these standards that I set for myself, and I'm letting myself down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved on to the next part, that I will be commanded. And I initially said, well, if I've set these, if this starts with me,
Mm-hmm.
then this also ends with me. Then I'm not able to be commanded by anybody else because these are standards that I set for myself. These are um yeah, that's it. These are standards that I set for myself. I let myself down. I didn't let anybody else down because nobody else put these expectations on me. But and that's why I was asking you the questions that I was asking you. But when you said that circumstances, it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody else. It's
Right.
circumstances. It made complete sense to me at that point. Really made complete
Well.
sense because at that point, when if I have a certain standard that I set for myself and I don't meet that standard,
Mm-hmm.
I punish myself. I do punish
Mm-hmm.
myself, right? But I punish myself. I don't even intentionally punish myself. My conscious punishes me. And when I try to, and when my conscious punishes me, I'm consciously punishing myself. And when I try to move away from that place, my subconscious starts to punish me. So I can't avoid it. I really can't avoid it. And at that point,
Right.
has circumstances has now come in and just taken control. And now I'm being commanded by circumstance. And it makes complete sense. I
Well,
agree
and
wholeheartedly.
it's not just circumstance too. You can be commanded by environment because you didn't obey yourself by saying, you know what, I'm not gonna smoke, I'm not gonna drink, I'm not gonna deal with it, I'm not gonna be in that atmosphere. And then you decide to go in that atmosphere where it is. And next thing you know, peer pressure got you. And it don't even have to be somebody saying to you, let's drink. It could just be they look like they having a good time. I'm currently not. You know what I mean? Maybe I should shift gears and do what they doing because they look like they
Mhm.
having a good time. So now you're being commanded by the environment. You know what I mean? And so,
Right.
that's what this situation. I think I love it. I love it. It definitely encourages you to take control of yourself 100% and to be accountable to yourself. Now, obviously, you got to have some consistency in that situation as well, right? So, as you go from thing to thing, you got to consistently think, all right, I'm in control, I'm in control, I'm in control. This also, this doesn't have to give birth to narcissism. It's all about me. It's only me that I need to listen to. You don't have to give birth to that. You know what I mean? And then also, by the way, when you were saying where if I set standards for myself and I let myself down, if it starts with me, that it ends with me, I would have to say that to that, if you set standards for yourself and you're doing for someone else, they expect those same standards. You know what I'm saying? They expect you to be who you've been, right?
Right.
Or definitely who you say you're going to be. So when you don't live up to those standards, it's not just you that you let down in that situation. It's not just you that you let down. It's somebody else that you let down. And that's where you be commanded by regret and by shame and guilt and embarrassment and redemption and all of that other type of emotions.
Right.
But you're gonna make mistakes or whatever, but you can regroup, you can adapt and overcome as you need to take control from from position to position. But when you are an individual, like when you like, for me, the only time I take control really is when I'm pissed off. If I'm angry, I'm gonna do what I said I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? That's because at this point I'm not most of the time, because of just me being me. I spend so much time not following through. When I'm pissed off, it has to do with not following through. And now I'm tired of letting me down. I'm tired of letting my wife down, my kids down, or something like that. You know what I mean? And I'm angry. And I'm so hyper-focused at this point to where even if I make a mistake, it's just a hurdle. I'm going to leap that. I'm going to run through whatever wall or whatever, but I'm pissed. And that's another thing that I don't particularly dig about myself, that is where my greatest focus is, when I'm pissed off. And I do not like that. But once I had it, and I guess,
and you very rarely get mad too. That's very rare that you get mad.
Yeah, it is very rare. It is very rare that I get mad.
Yeah,
which obviously ain't helping me out, because how in the hell is my focus at its best when I'm angry, but I'm very rarely angry, which means I'm very rarely focused, is what that amounts to. You know what I mean? And so now, I have to, and I don't get very mad, because I don't like to make decisions in anger.
Right.
It's an emotional situation. Anger is a fleeting emotion. I don't like to make decisions in anger. But now I've learned, it's a such thing as anger management, right? And so for me, it's not just about anger management as far as controlling yourself, so as not to act erratic or irrational, whatever. But now I aim my anger. You know what I mean? And so when I'm mad at me, I am in no shape whatsoever, and I'm pretty pissed off about that as of late. But
you said no. Oh, you said no shape, huh?
Yeah. I really, really, really have needed to lose weight for umpteen years, and my wife is sick and tired of me saying I'm gonna do, and I'm not gonna do. Right? Sick and tired of me spending money, gym memberships, gym equipment, just wasting the time. But as of late, I'm pretty pissed off at me too. So I started picking up habits now that I'm trying to feed that. So I get up when I get up in the morning. Certain things are done at a certain time. Like tomorrow, I gotta get up at 5:30 so I can go to the gym. And I'm pretty pissed. I'm pretty pissed, but it's weird now, because I'm like, I said I'm gonna do it, so I gotta do it, because the only way to not stay pissed off is to accomplish it. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to walk around angry. You know what I mean? Angry all the time. That's how you get tense. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your shoulders get high. Your butt get hard. You know what I mean? I don't want to walk around like that.
Yeah, then you get high blood pressure and you die.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You don't walk around like that. So the only way for me to really get rid of that anger, but I have to channel it. I'm pissed. I'm pissed that I have to do this, but the only way to get rid of this is to do it. So I'm gonna get up tomorrow morning, and I don't know. It's a weird thing for me that I understand it that way, but as a result, like it's strange because now I'm obeying myself, but I'm commanded to obey myself now because of the consequence or the circumstance created by me not obeying myself. You know what I'm saying? You follow me? See how that vicious circle?
Yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna put my therapist hat on for a second. So, why is it that you don't follow through? What is it that it trying to find another way to ask this question to get the answer that I'm looking for, but whatever, I can just keep it there. Why is it that you don't follow through?
I think it's because of the way that I execute. I do so without a plan. And so what'll happen is if there isn't a necessary goal or an aim. Instead, there's an impulse. Ooh, I'm gonna go do this. And then I go do it. And then I go print up t-shirts.
Okay.
And then I get on and I say, hey, look at my t-shirts. And then I get 2 trash bags of t-shirts sitting downstairs in the basement. Because I didn't have a plan of how to sell them. I didn't have a plan of what to do with them or only thing I had a plan for was to print them. You know what I mean? And actually, I back up. I didn't have a plan to print them. I had an impulse to print them. So I did. And so that's what I think is probably the biggest situation. Because I'm not really, I guess some people can do some of everything. I don't execute very well. And part of it is because of planning. Ideas, though, you know me. I got ideas all day long.
Amazing ideas. Amazing ideas.
But I can't.
You really should be a billionaire by now with all the ideas that you've had that you just didn't follow through on. But
look, I agree. I agree, but I'm not a billionaire. I'm not, and it's not cool. And so, but I'm trying to.
Get mad about that.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to get mad about that, but the part of the situation is I got to compartmentalize the anger because my wife is amazing. I can't walk around mad all the time looking at that woman. I can't walk around angry, laying next to that woman, talking to that woman. See, I can't. My kids piss me off, but they still my kids. You know what I mean? Like they my lifeline, dude. I love, you know what I mean? So even in like just having to chastise, I still love you too much to stay angry. You know what I mean? So I gotta figure out how to compartmentalize it, and so that I can weaponize it in a way of defense and not attack, right? So I can defend myself against being commanded by just nonsense. So it's a lot, man. But yeah, definitely no plan. And because and you know what the thing about planning or the thing about the impulse is I overthink things. So I'm a bit of an extremist. I almost said I'm a little bit of an extremist. How contradictory is that, right?
But hold up. Even saying I'm a bit of an extremist, like pick a side, okay?
Right. So I am. I am an extremist, and so I ain't gonna do nothing at all. Or I'm gonna do everything right now.
Right.
And whatever don't get done right now, wasn't a part of what needed to get done. So tomorrow's coming. Tomorrow's coming. There's a new nothing I can be doing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And so and that's how I go. And I learned that in some areas because that's how I used to pay bills. All or nothing.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. All or nothing. And then I got to the point where I could bench my credit score, which says quite a bit for my bench, but it don't say a dang thing for my credit score. You bench 400? Yeah, your credit score 400, son. Wait a minute. You know. So I had to learn, and
That's crazy. It can really get that low.
It didn't get quite to 400.
No, I mean
but it got
it's possible for credit to get that low. Like that's
it.
crazy.
I don't know honestly because it didn't get that low, but it got low enough to legitimately make that joke. Yeah, it got low enough to legitimately 100% make that joke. Like, yeah, like come on, y'all, it was bad. So, but that's one of the ways. I'm just kind of learning. Like, can't do all or nothing. And even and that's again in that situation. I say I'm going to pay. You charge something, you get a phone or whatever, and you say you're going to pay, and then you do not obey yourself, and now you are commanded by that circumstance.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's just how I play out. But I'm trying to learn how to obey myself, do what I said. And you know what the crazy thing about that is? If you're not going to do what you said you're going to do, why did you say it?
Well, you know what? I think a lot of people have all intentions on doing things and following through on things when they initially say it, and then life happens or they happen. Like one of the two. Something happens, and then it's like, because I know you were used to me following through on things.
Yeah. But you know what?
That's because
go ahead.
What? That's because the thing.
Sorry.
Oh, you trying to get me back? Cool. Fine, we can play that game. No problem.
No, I wasn't trying to. I wasn't. Look here. I don't. That is disturbing.
Not to me. But the thing is, the reason that you've known me to follow through on things is because the things that I don't follow through on, I didn't tell you about.
But you didn't say it.
Right. But
you know what I'm saying?
I was still commanded by circumstance, because the things that I said I was going to do that I didn't follow through on, I still had to deal with. I still had to look myself in the mirror. I had to deal with me.
Yeah, so you might not have told nobody else, but you definitely said it to yourself. Yeah, right. See, I made the mistake of telling other folks.
Well, see, I'm gonna tell you something. But on the other hand, there are some things that I'm not completely sure if I'm going to follow through on, so I will purposely say it. Because when I say it out loud, when I start telling people, to me, I have to follow through on it now. That's my way of holding myself accountable, when I just let everybody know this is what I'm going to do. Because I know if I don't come through, then y'all are going to see me as somebody that's unreliable, somebody that doesn't follow through, somebody that doesn't keep their word, and I can't be seen that way. So I will just put it out there, because that just puts pressure on me to make sure that I follow through.
And I commend you for being in that mindset. But when you are an egotistical individual like I have been, I'm finding out I've been a large part of my life. When I disappoint you, you can come at me how you want. If I care enough, I'm sorry, I apologize. How can I redeem myself? If I don't care, you can kiss my ass with breadsticks. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
You say breadsticks?
I'm just saying. Like, there's definitely a point where so what? And I'm trying to grow beyond that point, because it's a maturity issue. You know what I mean? This okay. Look, leave the breadsticks alone.
Are they at least like the cheesy breadsticks?
Look, I mean, it's your choice.
Like
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
okay, okay.
That's what you prefer. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that it's a maturity issue for me. And I think this, as a matter of fact, this here is a maturity issue, period. Because you should know yourself well enough to not say what you know you're not going to obey. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, and then it should mean enough to you for you not to disappoint yourself. Like that doesn't mean enough to most people. It doesn't mean enough, even when they get into consequences. And you see cats in jail, and they'll tell you, I could take these years, but I ain't want to put my mama through this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but it should be important to you not to disappoint yourself. And for some people, that is an innate standard. For me, that's a manufactured situation. And I really wish it wasn't, but because the thing is, obviously, honestly, with things that you want to do, when you think you can do them, other people see you and they think you can do them too.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to, in disappointing yourself, you're also going to disappoint these other people. Like, for instance, I didn't walk the stage at graduation. It blew my mother's mind. How are you not walking the stage? Never went to summer school a year in school until my senior year. My senior, I got the girl, didn't get the grade.
Right.
The
And
girl,
you no longer have the girl.
no, the girl walked the stage.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? But I just wasn't as concerned, and I'm still working on it. That is I think that one of my worst. I guess as far as if you think about having a worst part of your character,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if that necessarily ties into an integrity issue. I don't know, because integrity isn't really such as. I mean, I guess it's personal, but it's about doing the right thing when nobody's watching. But I don't know if that's necessarily an integrity thing.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But I really wish that it meant more to me to fail.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost 48 years old. Hold on, 48, right? Yeah, almost 48 years old. And by now, I got kids that I should be showing them that it means, how much it means to me to fail me, not just them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a struggle, homie. For real. It is a struggle because it ain't even just my kids. Like failing you. The only consolation I have in failing you when I've told you about an idea that I didn't follow through on is that you don't judge me for it. That's the only consolation I have.
I don't judge you out loud.
Huh?
I don't judge you out loud.
You know what? You know why? You know why that hurts? Because there's always truth in jest.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is. That's what makes it funny.
Nah, because that was all a joke. Now, I will say this. Every single one of them ideas, I still got up here in my head. Man, I may not judge you, but I damn sure ain't forget.
That's a way of saying, die if you want to. Think I won't when I will? You think I won't when I will? But no, seriously though, that's the thing. Like, but I shouldn't have to be. I don't even have to be consoled because I can make a choice to follow through.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like tomorrow when I get up, I'm just gonna push. All right, because full transparency, I have not obeyed myself And now I'm commanded because my wife lately, last 2 or 3 days, 2 days, we've been walking around here not enjoying one another because she refuses to allow herself to judge me, but I know she would be justified to some degree in doing so. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's right, people. I'm gonna tell you what's going on. I don't care. I'm working on me. You know what I mean? I'm working on me. So I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go start the car and I'm gonna walk the dog while the car warm up. And I'm gonna put on one of them hot suits. You know what I'm talking about? The joints
Sauna suit.
yeah, the big old not I say big, it's big old because it gotta fit me, but the sauna suit,
Yeah,
you
the old
know,
trash bag.
yeah,
Yeah. I've been
yeah,
out.
get it.
I've been out 90-degree weather jogging in them things.
You ever done it in no drawers? Not a good decision. I said
Nah,
too. I said too
nah.
much. I said too
Yeah,
much. Okay.
yeah. Overshare.
I never did the jogging, but you get on the bike. You know what I mean? It's just not a good idea. You
You
slip
got
right
on
off
the bike with no drawers on?
with the hot suit on. You know what I mean? You're on the bike and you got the hot suit on and you slide right off the thing and then you splash when you hit the ground. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because there's nothing catching that sweat. It's just gathering in the suit.
Yo,
Yeah.
your
And
suit nasty as hell.
it's nasty. And you on the ground in a puddle of yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a bunch of
Insane.
nasty man gravy. That's just.
That's it. You just sitting there, paddling in a big old puddle of barbecue sauce. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Look. All right, I'm just saying. I'm just being transparent. That's all. But I learned from that, so I'm going to obey myself and make sure I have on some underclothes.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get out there
I
and
don't
I'm
ever
gonna
want
do
to talk about this again.
it. Oh, you know what? It's about to be on the internet. It's here forever. Don't even worry about it.
That don't mean I got to go back and watch it.
You ain't gonna forget it. Watch. Yeah. Every time somebody say hot suit or splash, it's gonna be right on. It's gonna be right on there, right on the front lobe. Don't worry about it. But yeah, man, I gotta obey myself. That's what I love about this thing. I love about this whole show when it comes to these quotes like this because it gives me an opportunity to be transparent. It gives me an opportunity to talk about myself. You got this whole therapist hat that you put on. And sometimes you announce that you're going to put it on. And I appreciate that. That's very gracious. Other times you don't announce that and you just go into therapy. And I didn't realize that I was on the couch or being charged by the hour for that matter.
I didn't realize you was being charged by the hour either.
Oh, I ain't paying you. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Apparently, I need to pay more attention.
I'm thinking, just maybe. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm benefiting, and that's really all that counts. I'm learning how to obey myself, for real. Now, at the end of this, I didn't even think about it. At the end of this is the nature of living creatures. I honestly we could have left that part out.
Yeah, I promise I was going to say the same thing because duh. like what the hell? Like I'm gonna hold a dead man accountable.
Yeah, I didn't. That didn't add like a bow to the end of the message here. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
We could have left that off, but
Yeah, for real.
Fredrich Etch a Sketch thought it would be cool. So I don't know how you pronounce that as Nietzsche, son. I just don't get it.
I don't either. I'm just like, that's what his name is. That's what I'm gonna call him. That's what his
I
mama
don't.
call him. That's what I'm gonna call him. I mean,
There's 9 letters. There's 9 letters.
not only that, some of them letters do not belong next to each other.
You know what? I can agree with that as well. I agree with that. I don't know what's going on there. It was a inclusive effort of vowels and consonants, and it went too far. I don't know, but yeah, man. So people, I just start obeying yourself, man. You don't want to just be commanded and dragged around by circumstance and consequence. You know, I'm trying. I'm learning it as we speak. In the moment, I'm reinforcing the thought of obeying myself, doing what I say I'm going to do. And there's a lot that can come from that, dude. There's like, you gain some confidence in yourself for the next step. Not only do you gain confidence in yourself for the next step, you gain freedom. Because when you're in a situation like you're in a relationship and you're not doing what you say you got to do, your wife is she leaning on you, right? But once you start doing it, because I'm gonna tell you one of the things, and I still haven't full on employed it at all. But my father told me about your wife has a honey-do list. As a husband, you should have an I'ma-do list. Now, the truth is, a lot of what's on her honey-do list is on your I'ma-do list. But as long as you doing, she ain't saying nothing to you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She ain't saying nothing to you because she's just watching you do stuff. And she's checking stuff off of that honey-do list. She ain't even got to tell you nothing because you got an I'ma-do list that you're working off of. And so, you gain a freedom. I remember I talked to a cat and I used to complain about mowing the lawn. Man, I don't feel like mowing this lawn, especially because when I was a kid, Pops taught me to cross-cut the lawn. So I cut it east to west, and then I cut it north to south, and it gives it a nice, even look. Okay, but not even essentially, literally, you're cutting the lawn twice.
Yep.
Right? But that's the way he taught me to cut it for it to be even. So I'm talking to one cat, and he was like, yo, you just helped me out. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I hate cutting the lawn. He was like, I love cutting the lawn. Because when I'm outside cutting the lawn, guess who ain't bothering me? He said, and you just told me how to cross cut it, which doubled my time in the lawn when ain't nobody bothering me. So you gain that freedom, and then it becomes all about perspective, right? Like he gave me a whole new perspective on that situation. But if I just obey myself and do what I said I'm going to do, man, there's so much stress I don't have to deal with. And then you pay attention to what you're saying. Don't say it if you can't do
it. Right.
You know what I mean? Don't say it if you can't do it, because when somebody be like, nobody imagines an expectation of you. You give them that expectation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you don't say it, they can't act like you did. Not justifiably. You know what I mean? Yeah. So man, so this one here, I know we didn't necessarily have points of opposition, but I think it's a huge lesson to really learn to obey yourself, not just for the sake of not being commanded, excuse me, but for the accomplishment, for the progress, for the productivity that comes from doing what you said you're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Doing what you said you're going to do. Man.
Yo, you know what feels amazing? One time my wife put on Facebook, she said, honey, I said, I don't have to give honey a honey-do list. Honey just does. You remember that, baby?
She ain't home and you lying.
No, like she put that on there, and like, I mean, it just it really, because now I don't have to be commanded. I don't have to be, I'm not letting her down.
Mm-hmm.
and not letting her down, not letting me down. You
Well,
know,
see,
there's so many things that are just done before she even is like, hey, this needs to be done. You know, it just get it done. You know.
yeah, and that would be great. That would be great, and that's where you gotta like you can't be doing stuff just to shut her up. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you gotta be decide. You gotta decide. Yeah, this would be better if it was done this way. But that's super
Mm,
dope. Her to say I ain't got to give a honeydew less because honey just does. That is super dope. Because you know what I got my wife tagged me in a message yesterday where this guy was saying, giving all of these tips about keeping his marriage together. The entire thing from top to bottom was about catering to his wife. The entire thing.
mm,
But not
mm,
just catering to his wife as a person, but financial security, physical security, mental security, emotional security, spiritual security. All of these things come in play. But security is a big thing when it comes to your wife, right?
mm,
You tell her that you're going to provide these things for her. If I was providing these things for her in this moment, I would not have gotten tagged in that post.
mm,
I said I'm gonna do these things, but I didn't do these things. So because I didn't obey myself, I'm now commanded by that post. And that post is not just something she posted, it's something where your ego easily allows you to receive that. Hold on a second. I mean you comparing me to another dude with his idea of your ego could easily answer to that like that.
mm,
But you gotta shut your ego down. And I had to shut my ego down and realize, like, dude, it's interesting because I'm at a spot in my marriage when I'm starting to. I mean, I've been talking about ego for a long time, but I'm starting to realize, like, how to say you do the same thing to keep her that you did to get her.
mm,
That's a simple way of putting it. The more piercing truth to that is that you should be consistently qualifying. You know what I mean? You should be
mm,
consistently earning. And so should she. So should she. But you should be consistently qualifying, consistently earning your spot. But not because she says so, but because you feel like she deserves that. You know what I mean?
mm.
But you feel like she deserves that, and then you say it, and then you don't do it. Now you're commanded by some other, by comparison to another cat. Now what is that? What was that? What was that?
Okay, everybody, calm down. Nothing happened. Everybody, act like nothing
I
happened.
mean, your camera shook and everything.
I'm back.
All
All
right,
right.
all right. But yeah, man. So it's it's difficult to digest, but the real is the real. And I need
Mm.
to obey myself because I'm being commanded by a lack. I'm being commanded by failure.
You've never been this transparent on the pod before.
I don't know that I necessarily was in the middle of a situation so much on the pod. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or should I say, maybe it wasn't necessarily the timing of the quote itself and the circumstance, the current circumstance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I also feel like if you're going to obey yourself, tell yourself the truth.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? What
Right.
I what I've been telling you since you was 18. Who the worst person to lie to?
Yourself.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Worst
Yeah.
person to lie to.
I just think that I just really commend you for being as transparent as you've been on the pod. I mean, just some of the things that you shared. I personally, I wouldn't share. Like, but I'm so super private that, and even in my moments of transparency,
Mm.
it's still a little cloudy. You can't quite see all the way through. It ain't all the way transparent, you know. Like, there's certain things I'm just not going to share. I'm like, whatever, you can kiss my ass with mozzarella sticks. Okay.
you you hungry? Nah, man. I mean, but you know what? The thing for me is the truth, right?
Hmm.
And so I never been afraid of the truth. I guess that's a blessing and a curse because it's kind of like because there's consequences. Like remember, like we was talking about the other day when we was at the rest stop, dude sitting in the restaurant with the two girls. I didn't know if it was
Hmm.
his girl or not.
Right.
The truth is, I wanted to know. I wanted to know.
I was like, yo, we gonna be fighting at this rest stop, yo. Yo, I'm telling you, I looked over. I'm in the middle of a conversation. I look over. I said, I did just like I was like. I looked at her. I said, I'll be back. Walked over, fist balled up. I don't know what we about to. I don't know what's about to happen, but I
Look,
just.
man. Look, the truth is the truth, man. And so I wanted to know, and I feel like, and I'm careful, right? Because I learned this because my wife is a private person, right? So for me, the truth is the truth. I don't care who knows what, as long as you ain't lying about me.
Hmm.
But for her, because she's my wife, my business is her business,
Right.
right? So I can't. I can't give you the truth about everything if it can be misconstrued and paint her in a light that isn't actually reality, that isn't actually the truth.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But I feel like tonight I'm learning about me. I'm being transparent about me. You know what I mean? And as far as
Hmm.
she's concerned, I'm only telling you what she has to contend with and what I have to correct. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I'm fine with that. It'll fuel me because you know what? I'll listen to this recording and I'll learn something else. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I don't know if you remember back in the day. I don't know. You remember me telling you I used to record myself on the recorder on the way to work,
Yeah. Hey, I
and
remember
then,
that.
yeah, and then on the way from work, put it in the passenger seat like I'm talking to myself. I'm like, yeah, but it was crazy therapeutic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what this is for me now, and you know I'm I'm happy to do it. I hope the listeners enjoy the show. Don't forget to quote. I really want you to learn to obey yourself, where otherwise you'll be commanded, you'll be directed and guided around by consequence, fleeting emotion, and ain't no telling where you're gonna end up at that point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Ain't no
For
telling
real.
where you're gonna end up. So
Because
learn.
you have no control at that point. You just
Yeah,
have to go wherever you're led.
that's it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So obey yourself so that you can make a decision upon about your destination. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So yeah, that's pretty dope. You thought I was gonna cry, didn't you?
You gonna cry in the car.
I ain't going to the car.
You gonna cry in the room.
Nope. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go in the room, and me and my wife hadn't exchanged a whole lot of conversation today. It's been. You ever been in a situation? You probably the wrong person to ask because you so irritatingly blissful, right? So, but, but once in a while, seriously, it hasn't happened for us in years, I think. But once in a while, you get into a space where you're only having necessary conversations.
Mm.
And when I say necessary conversations, I mean like, babe, can you bring me some toilet tissue? You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of necessary. And aside from that, y'all not having casual conversation because both of you are thinking about whatever is going on within yourself. And I appreciate it to some degree because there's some things that don't need to be said because they are fleeting thoughts. You know what I
Right.
mean? They're fleeting emotions. But you've been in that space. I don't know whose fault it is, but when we get off of here, I'm gonna go talk about it. It don't matter if it's my fault. It don't matter if it's her fault. Resolution is the concern. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, um, pretty dope. I appreciate this podcast tonight. I believe I have benefited more than ever before.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's been dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you ready? You ready with your quote for the next episode?
Yes. 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 My quote for the next episode is "Chivalry is dead."
Chivalry is dead. I don't know if you're being chauvinistic or what. You say that. You know, I couldn't tell from your expression if you were enjoying the fact that chivalry is dead or if you was complaining because chivalry is dead. I couldn't tell just now.
Or if I just don't agree at all that chivalry is dead. Or if even if I'm alone, that I'm just the one that's keeping it alive. Just you got to tune in next week to see.
That's gonna be a good conversation because we're gonna need to get into what chivalry is.
Really? We
100%.
gonna do this again? We gonna do
Yeah,
this
I'm
again?
sorry. Well, my daughter calling me, so I'm gonna have to see what's going on here. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Party people, I love y'all, but I love my children even more.
Right.
So
Yo, that's crazy that her ringtone is hustling, but okay.
yeah, so let me get into it. But this has been episode 27 of Quotes and Mirrors, and I am Uncommonterry.
And I'm Tyrell James. And on that note, and I quote, peace out.
Peace.